Hey, hello everybody. How are you all doing? Look at this beautiful, beautiful backdrop I have here. I'm in the beautiful place called the Bahamas, Freeport Grand Bahama to be exact. And a thought hit me today. I was speaking with a entrepreneur today, and you know, because I actually am a photographer and a videographer by trade, have been doing this for over 25 years, well, actually 27 years, and I've seen the changes in the industry. And we're now at this place where persons tend to forget the value because cell phones are so affordable and the images are so good at a fraction of the cost what it used to cost years ago to bring this type of imaging. People get to think that it has little to no value. So as a result, as a professional, we find it very difficult sometimes to secure adequate work compared to maybe some of the other industries, because persons now, they downplay the importance of gathering an image. Well, my company name is Simply the Best, and my motto is, when your image matters, choose Simply the Best. And when I think about why I chose that motto because imaging is so important. To tell you, I want you to take a moment and picture this. Could you imagine what the Bahamas would be like if no one ever took any photographs? No one ever took any photographs of the Bahamas. This beautiful water in the back, the beautiful white sand, this beautiful blue sky that we take for granted. In some countries, they can't get a clear sky such as this, and when the evening comes, we will be able to see multiple amount of stars in the sky. Some countries don't have that privilege. And when you think about that, if we were unable to capture that image and share that image around the world, tourism is our #1 industry, and we rely on tourists in order to support our economy. And could you imagine if no one ever took a picture, no one ever saved a picture, no one ever shared a picture of the Bahamas? Wow. I love photography and I love videography. I love being able to document, because we document history. One of the sad realities is our industry is challenged because persons are losing value for what it is to gather a good image, to save a good image, to share a good image. Why do you need to share, save, or even capture a good image? Well, when you consider everything that we see, the eyes are the window to the soul. And whenever you decide to take in anything through these eyes, right? Taking anything through these eyes, then automatically the brain records that, it stores it, and then it gets you in the position where you want to discover exactly what you would have experienced before. And it does something for the inner person. So the thing is, when we decide not to preserve our images, we use these cell phones and we capture these images, we store them on the hard drives, and we don't decide to back them up. We are putting ourselves in a position where we are not preserving a part of history. Think about what it would be like a number of years from now when your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren want to experience what it's like to see their great-grand or their grandfather, and just picture it, no image. No one decided to capture, no one decided to save, no one decided to share or preserve. That's a sad state to be in. A lot of the things we have today were inspired by images that someone saw some time ago. How were these images gathered? We gathered those images by persons who love imaging, photographers, and they went through great lengths to actually capture these images and to save these images and to store these images. But today, because it's just so easy to capture. It's so easy to record images. We just take it for granted. And most persons, they lose their cell phone. They lose, when these cell phones die, they lose all of these images because they won't back it up. They just think that they take it for granted that it will always be here. And I want to encourage you, the next time you take a photograph or the next time you think about preserving an image, think about it seriously, because the generations that we are leaving behind, they're the ones who are going to thank us for it. I remember a long time ago, I read a sign that said, our environment, the environment that we have, was loaned to us by our children. Isn't that a profound statement? Which means we can't carry it with us, but our children loan it to us. So whatever we do to the environment now is what they're going to inherit. So it's the same thing with your images. Whatever you decide to do with your images now is what you would be leaving behind for your children and your children's children and children's children. I would love for my great-great-great-grandchildren to be able to see a nice image of Clifford Shane Bow that I would have preserved and sent on. You ought to take your imaging serious. You ought to remember that it's not about you and all of the things that you're trying to accomplish and to achieve and to preserve for yourself. It's all about what you are leaving behind, who you are leaving behind. And you ought to think about that. So with that being said, persons who are in position at these board meetings, persons who are in position to authorize the documentation of certain events, the video recording of certain events, to preserving of certain events, take that into consideration when you make your decisions and you have your budgets and you're planning your budgets. You may not hire me from Simply the Best to do it. I trust that you do. But you may not hire me. But whoever you decide to hire, just remember you play a vital role in history, documenting history as it is. It won't be a story told by someone. It won't be a story written by someone. It's the actual live image of the person themselves or the event themselves, and you owe it to yourself and your children, your children's children, to be a part of documenting history. Put it in your budget. Make room for recording images. And I end with this. Just think about what the Bahamas would be like without a single image, without a single picture, without a single video. Think about it. Thank you so much for your time.